it's Genevieve, and in this week's video I am going to be doing an art haul tour that I haven't done in quite a while on my channel. The last time I did an art haul was, gosh, probably a year ago, and I have since collected very many more gadgets and gizmos and trinkets to add to my art collection that I would like to show you all today. So that is what I am going to do. I'm going to show you just kind of all of the things that I've been collecting in both 2018 and 2019, because I don't tend to really go on like big, massive like art sprees. I generally tend to just slowly collect things and bring them in. So this is going to be an art haul of things that I've gotten over the past year, and yeah, some of these things you've probably seen before on the channel. I've probably talked about them a little bit, but this is kind of just going to be going a little bit more in depth about them, the product, how I like them, and you know, that sort of thing. So it's going to be a little bit different than some of the reviews that I've done for products, which is basically just my first impressions. This is basically going to be me telling me like, okay, I've used these quite a bit, how do I actually think about them, that sort of thing. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say in terms of introducing what I'm going to be doing. So let's get straight into the video. So the first things I am going to be talking about today are the Holbein 12 color set of gouache and the Holbein 24 set watercolors. You guys have seen these in many of my videos. I absolutely love these. You all know that I absolutely love these. I don't typically use the watercolor set as often as I would like to, simply because I have another watercolor pan set that is just a little bit easier to use. I don't typically do like really big pieces with watercolors, so usually I don't really have much of, I guess, a reason to break out this big boy, even though I love him dearly. I would like to start using these watercolors more often because they are really good and I really enjoy using them. But like I said, I do have another watercolor pan set that is just a little bit easier to use because it's like a little compact thing and all of the colors come in pans, so I don't have to worry about squeezing them out onto a palette. Definitely going to start using these more often though. And then I have the 12 set of the gouache. I freaking love this color palette. It is just such a nice array of colors, and the consistency of the gouache is so nice, and it gives such like a nice clean finish. And you guys have seen me use these so many times in videos. I absolutely love using these. I think I've said before in previous videos, but I generally tend to prefer art mediums that have like a nice solid look to them. I'm not very good at using watercolors because I'm very like heavy-handed with my paints. So with gouache, which is like basically a combination of watercolors and acrylics, it kind of gives me like the best of both worlds, because it can like be reactivated like watercolors can, which is really nice because I sometimes let my colors dry on the palette, which is not good if you're using something like acrylics. So it can be reactivated, but it also has like more of a solid like finish and appearance to it, which is something that you don't really get with watercolors. With watercolors, you're kind of really trying to use the blankness of the page to your advantage. So you're working from light to dark, whereas I typically tend to work from dark to light. So I'll layer on the darkest color first, and then I'll go in and I'll add highlights later. That's not really something that you can do with watercolor because you don't use the white that they give you. So yeah, gouache is at the moment my favorite form of painting medium. I've always loved gouache. You guys know that I love gouache. I do gouache pieces all the time. I go through, you know, back when I was in my still life kick, I was doing, you know, gouache still lifes pretty much every single day. So you guys know that I absolutely love these two to pieces and that I will continue using them until I run out of them. And when I run out of them, I will purchase them again because that's how much I freaking love these. So yeah, the gouache I'm gonna have to purchase probably pretty soon. I'm starting to run low on a couple of colors. The watercolors, these will probably last me for a while unless I start using them more often. I'm definitely planning on using them more often, but I don't think I'll be running out of the watercolors nearly as quickly as I will be the gouache. So yeah, that's those two. Next up are the Studio 71 alcohol-based marker set. I actually have two sets of these. This is the 24-piece set, and then I also have a skin tone set, which is specifically just like skin tone markers. And I really actually do enjoy these markers. I don't really use them as often as I would like to because that doesn't really show it very well. Hold on. Because the tips have a bad habit of wearing down really, really easily. I don't know if you can really pick it up on camera, but this is only after like a couple of uses, and as you can see, this tip is hella worn down, and it's kind of a shame because I was really, really excited about this marker set, and you know, the idea of having found like a really cheap alternative, well, not like really cheap, but definitely cheaper alternative to Copic markers, which I have been kind of looking into a little bit. I wanted to get into marker art really badly last summer, and so when I found these, I thought, oh my god, these could be like a really great alternative to Copic markers. And they are. They are really, really good. They are really, really easy to work with. They have a brush tip, which I feel like a lot of non-Copic brands don't really have. For some reason, I guess a brush tip marker is just more expensive to make than a chisel and like a fine tip. So not a lot of marker brands have the brush tip. So I was really excited when I found them, but then I quickly realized that after only a couple of uses, the tips were just starting to wear away, and the ink didn't really seem to last all that long either. A couple of the markers went like completely dry after only a couple of uses, and there are no available refills as far as what my research has told me, and it's just like kind of a shame because I really, really enjoy using these markers, and I was rooting for them so much. And I think that if you're trying to get started out with marker art, that these are a great place to start. However, their longevity does not do them any favors. It really doesn't. I'd say the markers that I used the most, that I was using rather frequently, within probably 2 or 3 weeks of buying them, either the ink had gone completely dry or the tips had worn down like almost completely, and it's such a shame because I was so looking forward to having like an alternate Copic brand. And while these issues might just be specific to the product that I got, I'm fully aware that there are instances where a consumer will buy a product and say it's really bad, but it's just because they got like a bad, you know, I don't know, set. So I am considering repurchasing these markers in the future, but I'm a little bit hesitant to, just because they did not last as long as their price suggested that they would, and they're not terribly expensive either. It's just, if I'm gonna drop like $25 to $30 on a set of markers, I'd like to get a little bit more than like 3 weeks out of them. So I would overall recommend these to anyone who's looking to get into marker art, but if you are like a seasoned marker artist and you're looking to upgrade your materials, I wouldn't recommend these. These are probably best for novice marker artists. So yeah, it's a shame, but what are you gonna do? The next thing I have is this little itty bitty sketchbook. I don't know if you can see like my hand is comparison, like how small this sketchbook is. It's like, it's so cute and it's so small, and I got it at Hobby Lobby a while ago, I'd say. Yeah, probably a couple of months at the very least. It's 4 inches by 6 inches. And I haven't used it just yet, but it's so freaking cute, and I absolutely love it. And I want to like maybe do a couple of like really tiny, like landscape studies in this. So hopefully I'll be able to have the time to maybe break out this little guy and do some landscape studies in it. But I just thought that I'd show this because it's like so tiny and so cute. And when I saw it at Hobby Lobby, like just on one of the shelves when I was browsing, I was like, oh my god, I have to have this, so I picked it up. So cute little sketchbook. Next up, we have Posca pens. Now everybody was going absolutely insane for Posca pens last summer. There was like this big craze about them, and me being naturally curious and terrible at managing my money, I bought myself a set, and I've done a couple of things with these. I don't use them terribly often just because I'm not sure if it's just because of like this set that I bought, or maybe if there's like a couple different manufacturers of like the product or whatever, but most people got their Posca pens in like a box, like a cardboard looking box, whereas mine came in like this little plastic pack. And I don't know what it is, but like for me, Posca pens just kind of have a tendency to like get everywhere. Like I don't really understand, like know what it is or understand why, but, or maybe it's just the kind of paper that I'm using. Maybe I'm using the wrong kind of paper. But whenever I use Posca pens and I'm like coloring on the page, it tends to like splatter out, almost kind of like if you were to take like a paintbrush and it had like paint on it and you were to like flick it. That's kind of the effect that it gives whenever I color. So I'm not entirely sure why this is the case, or, you know, like I said, maybe it's just like I got a bad product or whatever, because people absolutely love these. And I do enjoy using them. I think that they're really, really cool and they're like really neat. And I want to start using them more often. It's just the splattering kind of just gets everywhere. Like it gets all over my hands, it gets all over my desk, it gets all over the paper, but in all the places that I don't want it to go. So I don't know. I enjoy using these. It could be entirely because I'm just using the product incorrectly or I'm using the wrong kind of paper, but I will continue experimenting with these. And I will let you guys know if I solve my splattering problem or not. Hopefully I do, because like I said, I do enjoy using these, but because of the splattering, I haven't really like used them very much. So hopefully that'll change with you know, summer being here and me having more time to do things. So yeah, Posca pens. The next item on the list of things in this haul are the 24 color acrylic set from Arteza. I don't really know. I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers, like art YouTubers, like kind of doing stuff with Arteza, either like promotional work or Arteza just like sending them a bunch of stuff for free. Arteza, if you're watching this and you want to send me stuff for free so that I can review it, then like hit me up. I'll totally do it. But I bought this set of 24 acrylic paints with my own money. Arteza did not send me these for free or ask me to do this. I kind of wish that they would, but let's be real here, I have like 132 subscribers, probably not gonna happen. But anyways, I enjoy these paints. I think that they're really good. I am not really like a master acrylic painter or anything. Acrylic paints are things that I haven't really used very much since high school, back when I was taking lots of art classes, but I always enjoyed using acrylic paints. I don't really do much work with like canvases. I don't really have canvases anymore. I mostly just do work in like either my sketchbook or on like watercolor paper or like just like pieces of paper. So I did purchase some canvas paper though, and I did a little thing. I didn't finish it. It was like for a sorority event. It was like a painting night and you just showed up and like you painted with your sisters. So, hold on. Come here. God, my room's a mess. I did this. Well, I started it anyways. Yeah, it's just like a little mountain scene. And I just was kind of experimenting with the paints and trying to see like what kinds of effects I could get and all that stuff. And clearly, I have not finished it and I don't plan on finishing it. I don't hate it. I actually kind of like it, but I'm just too lazy to finish it, so I'm not going to. But yeah, overall, I really enjoy working with these paints. I just kind of have to remind myself at times that acrylic is not gouache, and that if it dries on your palette, you cannot just reactivate it. So there have been instances where I've like laid out all of my colors on my palette and then like, you know, done like a certain area of a piece and then gone back to do another one and realized that the colors that I need for that section have completely dried on my palette. So yeah, kind of have to reacquaint myself with acrylics in terms of like my workflow and kind of when I can put colors down and like how they blend and such. And I've found that like adding a little bit of water to the paint helps to like thin them out and make them like blend a little bit better, because I do like that really blended look. That's kind of how I was able to achieve like this look on the mountains, is by like adding a little bit of water and like working really quickly while like the paints were still wet. So yeah, like I said, really enjoy these paints. Definitely want to use them more often. I was about to say something else, but I forgot what it was, so I'm just gonna, yeah, they're good. Maybe, you know, don't get the 24 set if you don't need 24 colors. I sometimes find that I don't need like 24 whole colors. I probably could have done with like the 12 set and I would have been perfectly happy, but yeah, thanks for that. Anyways, I probably could have been perfectly happy with the smaller set of colors, but I wanted to go for the 24 set because they were on sale, and also I like having all the colors. But yeah, I like them well enough. I've technically had these for a while now, but I've never really put them into like any sort of review or like mentioned them in a video before, so I figured I'd just throw them in here. And they are the Tombow brush pens. I have a pretty small collection of these. Some of them were given to me by friends. Others were ones that came in like sets that I bought. And I don't really use them terribly often. I mostly use them in my sketchbooks to add like little bits of like color or like outline things or, you know, stuff like that. So not something that like I typically use in like finished pieces or anything, but something that I do use like in my art on like, I guess a semi-regular basis. I don't know, like I said, I only ever use them in my sketchbook, but I do enjoy using them. It's just, I sometimes don't remember that I have them because whenever I'm working in my sketchbook, I don't typically like remember to make it like all pretty. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I like go all out in terms of like making my sketchbook like really nice and neat and pretty and like all sorts of like cool stuff, and then like I'll just forget to do it for like months at a time. It's like a cyclical like, it's like a cycle. Like I'll go through periods where like I want all of my sketchbook pages to be beautiful and neat and finished and whatever. And then I'll go through periods where it's just like, I'm lucky if I scribbled on a page that day. So yeah, like I said, don't really use them too often, but if you're, you know, interested in getting some for yourself, then go ahead, because they're really nice. Like, they're a really good quality brush pen. And, you know, you can use them for all sorts of stuff, not just like drawing or painting, but like for calligraphy too, because like I do a lot of calligraphy sometimes. And if I'm like, you know, really feeling the calligraphy, then like I break these out and they're like so much fun to play with. So yeah, Tombow brush pens. And the last thing in this art haul are the Dr. P.H. Martin Color India ink set. I believe this is, yeah, Bombay set number 1. For some reason, set number 1 was like really difficult to get my hands on, but like number 2 is everywhere, even though I didn't really enjoy the like choice of colors from the second set as much as the first one. Maybe that's why it's so much harder to get a hold of, because everybody prefers the first one. But anyways, I love these inks. They are so great. They are so much fun to work with. I love them to pieces. This is working with inks is basically how I want working with watercolors to be like. The inks are super opaque. But if you thin them out with water, then they can be like really like thin and clear too, kind of like watercolors, but and like they layer really nicely and they dry in a way that allows me to like layer on different colors and like doesn't reactivate when I add a lot of water. Because what my one grievance with gouache and watercolor is that sometimes I will go to add like highlights or details on top of like a solid layer of color that I've done, and it will start like blending with the layer underneath, because obviously that's what it does when it reactivates. It blends with like the layer of color underneath. But I sometimes don't want that to happen, so having inks which you can like work with them and blend colors while they're wet, but like they dry and they stay dry. It's like really, really nice to work with, and I really, really enjoy working with these inks, and I just freaking love them to pieces. They're great. I couldn't recommend them enough if, you know, you want to get into some kind of like painting, but like you don't like watercolors, but like you don't like gouache, and like you don't like acrylic or oil or whatever. Get yourself a set of India inks. They are great, they are awesome. You can use them for all sorts of stuff, not just painting. You can use these for calligraphy if you want. And they're just like a great set of inks, and I love them so much. They're awesome. So yeah, and the colors are so pretty and vibrant. Ooh, that almost fell out. Be careful, Genevieve. Like, I don't know if you can like see it on camera, but like the colors are just so freaking gorgeous. Like, I'm going to attempt to show you. It's like, look at that. It's so nice. It's like so fluid. I love them. I don't know if you could see any of that, but I showed it to you, so. So yeah, that is what I think of the Dr. P.H. Martin's, you know, Bombay Set 1 India inks. They're great. I love them. And you should totally go buy them if you can, because they're amazing and I love them and they're great. Awesome. Yeah, cool. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this very, hopefully brief tour of all of the things that I have collected over the past year. Like I said, I generally enjoyed a lot of the products that I bought. I generally use them rather frequently, and even the ones that I don't use very often, I still do enjoy using them, because if I don't like using them, then I don't keep them. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to my channel for more videos coming every Monday and Thursday. Monday are vlogs and Thursdays are arty videos like these. And since it is summertime and I am no longer held under duress by the stresses of university, maybe you'll even see some videos on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm not really sure. I'm still working that out. However, one last time, I would like to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you all next time. Bye!